door because I had to put my on-air sign. I have an on-air sign in my room. When I put it on, everybody kind of knows. Everybody shuts up in the house because obviously we need to not make any noise when I'm trying to make a video for you guys. So today we're going to be doing the vehicle warehouse. So what the heck is vehicle warehouse? Well, I put together this little notepad right here. I can't read that. So basically it's the player, so how it works, right? So the player must own a warehouse to store the vehicles, kind of like GTA. There's a cap on the limit. All right. So players will, I don't know if you guys can read that properly, but players will be able to visit the warehouse in game and be able to purchase a warehouse. I think you guys can read, right? So basically they're allowed one vehicle at a time. Okay. So today in the devlog, we're going to bring this to life. We're going to try to get all this done within 2-3 hours. You guys are just going to see the main parts. So the video is probably going to be maybe 30 minutes. I doubt it's even going to be 30 minutes. But we'll see how it goes. So how it works is, you guys can see, it just works as basically they need to buy a warehouse. So for example, you need to buy 10 grand and you get 2 slots, 5 slots for 25 and so forth. The features is that the UI will display all the vehicles that you have, and that's going to be quite difficult to do, but we're going to show you guys how it works. When I say we, I mean me, myself, and I. Me and this computer and I talk to this computer more than I talk to anybody else. So she's kind of my, I forget the name, Claire or something from SpongeBob, the Plankton. Plankton, I think it's Claire or something. Right, so first of all, the player needs to be able to access the warehouse. So the first comes first I'm going to do is, let's just start testing it, right? So the player needs to be able to access this warehouse. So right now this triggers the dealership, and I'm just going to clone this. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to rename this to let's do warehouse trigger. All right, so this is going to be the warehouse trigger now. And so our sensor type is enter building and dealership police station. Well, we don't have a police station yet. And then we're going to be adding the warehouse. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the script here, and I'll be right back. So we went ahead and got the code compiled. So one thing I actually did not think about was that the warehouse can also be triggered by vehicles. So these are only set up to handle the players. But what I did was I changed the code, and now we have warehouse functionality, and the floating text is still a child, so we don't really need to do that. And then we have the placeholder text, which is awesome. Now you'll see this is the code. So right here we'll see if the player, we're going to print that the player is actually in a vehicle, and it says we just reuse the dealership code, and we're going to say press E to visit your warehouse, or to visit, or to drive into the warehouse. And now we're going to go into test this code and see if it works. So I'm going to make this just a little bigger sensor here, and I don't want it to get confused. And we will check our debug statement. I'm going to edit the code to print. So press E to enter the dealership. Boom. And as you can see in the vehicle right here, or in the debug, player not in vehicle at the warehouse. Sweet. So that piece of code works. All right, everybody, and we are back today with the warehouse system. The reason I said today is because when you guys watch that first part, you're basically talking about a week ago. A week ago's worth of work is now the new warehouse system. So let's go check that out right now. So I have actually some cars, but what you can see right here is I've actually added these little floating indicators, which is pretty cool. So I have obviously 117,000 here, and we can go ahead and jump around and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn my car in real quick, and I'm going to show you guys a few different things, what's going on. So obviously the physics need some work, right? And then the controls and everything. So we're going to get inside of our vehicle, and our player actually is just staying there, which is probably not what we want it to look like. So we're going to just pull out, well, this isn't actually a thing. So let's show you guys the warehouse system. So I did big talk about everything, and what I actually did was I wrote down everything that I wanted to do. So this is the Velox mirror, and obviously it needs some work. It's a pretty cool looking hatchback here. And so we're going to exit our vehicle here. And now the wheel glitch isn't prominent anymore. And so this is the warehouse. So this stores all the vehicles that you will have. Kind of like a Grand Theft Auto warehouse, if you guys are familiar. And remember I was saying, you know, you can enter your warehouse. So we'll press E here. And this is all, you know, very basic beta. The recording that I'm using is cutting this off, but the screen is obviously efficient. So we can store up to 7 vehicles in here. So I have my Velux Kingston and I have my Velux Mirror as well. And they have their each individual place, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you guys were a developer, I mean, most of you guys are. I'm not saying you guys aren't developers. I'm just saying for those of you at home, if you are watching this and you're like, wow, look at this. I mean, this is actually amazing. I mean, you can upgrade your warehouse. See, are you sure you want to upgrade to tier 4 for 75k? It will allow you to store up 10 vehicles. I don't actually want to right now, but what I can do is I can actually take my Velux Kingston here. And my Steam name is Mugged Ketchup. I'm not sure if I can share that with you guys, but I don't care. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Parking your vehicle around back. All right, well, since it's around back. Oh, there it is. Boom! It's around back. And so, get inside this bad boy, and we can start driving. Obviously, our character is not configured to the vehicle properly. These vehicles are all going to be reworked. And then we'll skirt off here. And we can go back inside of our warehouse. And we have a little glitch with, well, I can't move my cursor as a developer. The reason I wanted to show you guys this is, number one, I was not expecting this at all. So exiting and then re-exiting, some sort of issue is occurring. And what that issue is probably obviously clearing the list and not repopulating upon panel opening, which could be a big issue because this is now blank and the vehicle information has not reset. So let's go ahead and show you guys how I would fix that as a developer. So we are basically where we were just at, and like literally the same thing. Our car spawns around back. I might change that up just a slight bit here, and then we're gonna go ahead and drive over here, even though we could have just walked. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Getting to this point, you guys might think, "Oh, load up the editor and just go." It took me about 8 tries to do it, and the Unity editor will crash. It's just, I don't necessarily know what the dealio is with that, but it crashes about maybe, I wouldn't say half the time, but I would say maybe 4 out of every 8 tries it does propose an issue to me, and it's not the best. So when we go ahead and load up, obviously in the editor it wants to work. But I don't like that necessarily, and the reason I don't like having the UI stay the same is for the particular reason that what if we have to refresh the vehicles? What if now I go ahead and purchase another vehicle, and you guys can see in the scene view, or actually we'll go in the hierarchy, we have the canvas right here, and the warehouse panel is, you guys can go and you can see the middle car display. The 2 button templates is still here. So what the deal is and what the issue is probably just not receiving the right amount of data. And so what's happening here is that if I go and buy another car, this is actually just proposed another issue. Remember, I have not rehearsed this video. Everything you're seeing is raw footage. Pause. But it is raw footage in the event that other issues may occur. I may be able to fix them on the spot. So, speaking of fixing on the spot, I will implement some code real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. So as a developer, I'm going to go and pause it, because you don't want to do that during runtime. And let me zoom in some Codeable real quick, so you guys can take a look-see. Pause. Oh, that's a little too zoomed. I don't know if you guys can see that. So, on my enable function here, all right, I'm showing obviously the whole code here, but on the enable function, let's go through the enable function real quick. So on the enable, we are getting the player's data. We are telling the player handler, or what we're doing. We're saying, hey, we're in a UI, by the way. Now remember, on Enable, this isn't a Unity programming channel. It can be, if you'd like. Go and comment below. But basically, the purchase panel is getting set active, and so is the management panel. So if they don't own it, whatever, let's just reset it. We'll just cover us in case we leave them active. That's what the comment is there for. Most of my code is commented. Obviously, all the code is written by me. And then can't buy text, that's just something else. That's just showing that we can't buy it. Now, warehouse level, this, that, and the other. Now we're going to populate management. Now, we do have something, so we have the purchasing region. Now, we do have something called the display, or populate, right? So I populate the management. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Basically, it's setting the tone. It's basically saying, hey, the amount of player vehicles we have is the data, cars owned. If you guys aren't familiar with the Roblox code and you guys are programmers, intermediate yourself, you guys will fully understand what I'm going through. It's just a little different syntax. Voids are functions, basically. And then we'll go and display. All right, sweet. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the top here. And if this is true, or if, you know, our data is whatever, it's actually good to go. Because now that I'm saying it out loud, every time this game object gets enabled, it will go ahead and check the level. Now, we obviously are I think a tier 3 or a level 3 warehouse. And we'll set the management active true. And we'll go and populate her. And then the show loading screen, I do want to kind of do that. I think I want to do that because when we were doing it, it kind of just pops up, and I don't like to see such a thing because it's kind of stupid. Pardon my French here. So what we can do is before we set everything active, because there's a fade time. Sorry, I'm tapping because I'm thinking. As a developer, bro, this is it. This is, I don't know if I already talked about Sam Sulek, but this is it. This is what you must live and breathe. I'm telling you right now, I'm cut from a different cloth. This is, I mean, you guys can say what you want, but I'm simply Himothy when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because you have to examine. I cannot stress this enough. When you are a programmer, you are not just writing ones and zeros and all of this kinds of stuff. Listen when I tell you this. This is Rishraff. Rishraff the coder, or whatever you want to call me. I was trying to do more with the channel, but it turned into programming. When you do this kind of stuff, you have to think. Listen to me very carefully. You must think about your players. You must think. You have to think. You have to live and breathe this stuff. I just can't stress it enough. And maybe it's because, you know, I'm different. And maybe I love programming. Maybe, you know, I do this stuff. I don't even make any money from YouTube. But what you saw earlier shouldn't have been blank. And, you know, that's a little infuriating because if you guys are in the Discord, you will always see my status. What is my status, ladies and gentlemen? I got a bug in the code, and it's bugging me. Because it shouldn't be blank. There's no way it could be blank. So if data warehouse, if they own a warehouse here, we're going to go and populate it. And so before I went on my spiel, if we choose to show a loading panel here, the loading panel void that I have set up is a fader. As you guys saw, it like slowly fades in. So I can't do it here and then literally, like, you know, I can't set it true because you'll see the panel and it looks kind of stupid. So I don't want to do that. All right, it's a little hard coding on 400% here with the zoom. So how are we gonna do this? So on enable, right? I would say on enable. I would say, sorry, you guys are seeing everything. I mean, I don't mind. It's just programming, but on enable is when the game object gets enabled. So this is how I program it. This is how I want to show this loading screen. I honestly believe that if I were to show it here, well, Rishraff, why don't you just show it at the beginning, like where this line 70 is? The code is just so fast. It's millisecond execution, frame execution, I should say. So this wouldn't even work. what I can do is introduce an enum, which would be an entering warehouse enum, which I might do, in fact. So let's actually do this. Let's go enumerator. Oof. So sorry, the code is literally blinding me right now. But let's go enumerator, and let's go load into warehouse management. Sorry. All right. Now, off rip, this is going to give you the error because it's saying not all code, not all. I'll just read it. Never mind. Not all code paths. I'm just so like, not all code paths return a value. So the reason for this is it's a yield, whatever. And so what I want to do is I want to take this code and I want to put it in here. Now, for all you devs out there, well, ignore the red. You guys are still going to see, well, it's pretty easy. Just put it into a function. I might delete this line right here. Actually, I'll just keep it. And we'll say start coroutine, load into warehouse management. And the visual sense is just crazy, as you guys can see. So we'll just go down here. Now, why is it still red? Because not all code paths return a value. So what I want to do here is I want to do this. I want to, first of all, let's show the loading screen. So we'll go, I forget how to do this. I forget how I wrote it. And what I'll do, I'm just going to guess. So we'll go, if, let's go player handler dot instance dot, ooh, I can't type, dot canvas dot show loading panel. All right, now we'll show the loading panel, and it's red, don't worry, because it takes an argument. And we'll yield return new, wait for seconds, and then it's recommending 5 here with the visual sense. It's called something else, not visual sense. If you guys know what I'm talking about, hit that like button, obviously, because it's your boy Rishraff. But then comment what it's called. It's like visit sense or something. I don't know how to call it. And then we'll just wait 2 seconds, basically. Actually, you might want to wait 3 just to be safe. And we'll show the loading panel here. And then we'll say loading into your warehouse. That way we have time to populate and it can refresh the code. So loading into your warehouse. I don't want to say loading. Entering your warehouse. I want it to be like a big text, something that makes sense. Entering your warehouse. Let's do that. Entering your warehouse. Entering your warehouse. No, let's do, I would say like I want something cool, like finding all of your keys. Finding all of your keys. Basically to all the whip skis. So let's go ahead and test this. So we finally got it to work here. I think my car is stuck smoking, doing some sort of burnout thing. We can enter finding all of your keys. Finding my keys and ready to go. It is populating. Now, I don't like that little text thing at the end. I'm going to actually remove that. And then as you can see, I got this actually reset. So we can spawn this. Parking your vehicle around back mug to catch up. That's my testing account, as previously mentioned. And yeah, so it's just the life of the developer. It's just, you really got to know, what you're doing. And you really got to know how to do it. That's all. And if you don't know how to do it, don't ever feel discouraged. Because obviously nobody's born with this knowledge. You have to really know what you're doing. And, you really have to know what to do. Little camera shakeage a little bit there going on. Not sure what that was about. But it's just, you really just got to know it. You really just have to do it. You got to live it. And if you don't, then you don't. Then you're not going to be about it. And if you're not about it, you're not with it all. And if you're not with it all, then there's nothing that, that we can, or anybody can do for you. And, yeah, not sure why we're able to drive the vehicle. But That probably needs to get fixed. But yeah, just so you know, there's just, especially when you're developing a huge game like this, there's gonna be lots of issues and a lot of bugs and a lot of stuff that's gonna happen, and honestly, there's nothing we can do about that. Not sure what's going on here, but yeah. So this has basically been the warehouse system. It's gonna be in Horizon Springs. Please, 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 guys, I've been working really hard on it. Join the Discord and maybe wishlist the game. And if you guys like the game, I mean, if you guys like what you're seeing here, go and make a purchase. It's going to come out maybe February. That's the target date. I've been working really hard on it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I hope you guys have a great day. See you in the next one.